Okay, so I want to have a little preface before I show you day 2, because I've been thinking about it, and day 2 was like a pretty easy day, and I think that some people may watch day 2 and think, what does this woman actually have to stress? And though I think most of you are like not really judgmental like that, I still think it's important for me to preface something. So a lot of burnout to balance is about like neutralizing your nervous system and not being super triggered by so many things. And the truth is like I really had to learn to regulate my nervous system in everyday ordinary experiences that you would think would not be that stressful. And I think, there's a lot of studies on why people have like a narrow nervous system range. That means they can't really handle a lot of adversity, which absolutely was me. And so things like being with my kids was really challenging. Like when I was working all the time on Wildly Alive weight loss, being with my kids was so triggering for me. Like they felt like a nuisance. They felt like I just didn't want them. They were just annoying. It's so sad to say, but that's really true. And it was like me working all the time kind of masks my stress problem, because it was like good stress, like in the name of growing a business. And it's like, I love what I do. And so it was a really easy mask. But then when I was called to shut down the business and I got to a point where I wasn't working like at all, and I was going from, 100 to 0, and I only was like mothering. I mean, I still had my like jobby job, but as I said yesterday, it was actually very relaxing for me. It was so hard for me to be around my kids for a long period of time. Like I constantly needed breaks. I constantly needed to come back to like the techniques that I teach within Burnout to Balance on how to calm myself down, even in like a seemingly not so rough situation. And so like day 2 was pretty great, but even when I did get stressed out, I think it's easy to say like, what is she actually stressed about? But it's like, this is the work for most people, is like we have these little things that set us off, and then it compounds and compounds, and then all of a sudden it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we're just like on the edge of losing it. And that's when we turn to like weed or drinking or food or scrolling, because we have not checked in with our nervous system and we're completely out of balance. And so that's a lot of what this is about, is how I'm trying to find that balance, find that presence, find that relaxation in my everyday life with everyday stressors that sometimes from the outside might not look like a lot to some people. Other people will get it, but it's about coming back to myself, coming back to my body, coming back to how I'm feeling, and not getting caught up in the overdoing and moving forward and like I just need to be alone and run away and get out of here and flee, And so I just wanted to preface this before we go on to like an easy day 2, because it's all relative and you have your own little stressors and I have my own little stressors, and cooking for a large group of people is very stressful for me, and it might not be for you. So let's just like really look at this through the lens of non-judgment and understanding we all have little things that trigger us, and like we'll talk about that, is like recognizing your triggers, so then you're able to continue to revisit balance and relaxing your nervous system so you don't go off the rails at some point. Okay, let's move into day 2. Hello, day 2 recap with Bailey and I here. It was definitely not a very stressful day most of the day. It all really hit at night. So I felt pretty balanced most of the day. I'll give you a little recap for the day. We started off the day making some zucchini pancake. We have a little garden, and it is like birthing zucchinis every day. So I'm like trying to find all the different ways to make something with zucchini. And it's also been so hot that the only time to do it is in the morning. And so we did that out on the Blackstone this morning, which is nice. And then we rode our bike. Wasn't that fun? Bailey gets to ride the bike with me, and my sister-in-law and I do a little swap, and she goes over there for a few hours. So then Wyatt and I came back and we had a good homeschool session. And I actually hosted a full moon letting go ceremony for Living in Color. That's my membership. And we have these kind of monthly meetings that we meet together. We harness the power of the moon. It was great. And Wyatt did his own thing. It was a win. Then we went and picked her up and continued to have some nice, and I was like, oh, this is definitely a balanced day. And then I felt like it hit me later on at night. I get really stressed out when I have to cook, especially cook for like large groups of people, which I usually have to do at least once a week, because my sister-in-law and I do a lot of like, we trade off dinners and stuff, and so she does it on Tuesdays and I do it on Thursdays. And I was really stressed out all through dinner. I don't know what it is about making dinner and feeding and making sure it like tastes good and it's hot and I'm doing it right, it really makes my nervous system kind of freak out. So I still feel like I'm kind of coming down from that. I probably could have used some better tools if I'm honest, but I feel like I'm now just coming down after the last few hours, like laying here in bed with Bailey. So it was a pretty good day for the most part. It just really started to hit me, and I feel like I probably could have taken a break in the bathroom and did some breathing exercises. I also think that I need to allot more time. I always like kind of wait till the last minute to start cooking, and then it adds so much stress. And then like, you know, she needed to get to bed a little early because she didn't take a nap, which is not happening. It's late. So gotta learn the lessons when things are out of balance. So that was day 2. Some gratitude for the balance beginning of the day and some lesson learning at the end of the day. So tomorrow's a new day. This brings me down a little bit for sure. Mm-hmm.